to call Ryan Erb back up here to the podium and to speak to us about a new initiative from the United Way, the Community Renewal Company. Thank you, Ryan.
Housing and homelessness has been on the tips of all of our tongues, hasn't it? Who hasn't read an article? Who hasn't experienced a challenge? Maybe a friend of yours who can't afford rent anymore. Maybe it's a child that can't buy a house. I don't know. Someone who is connected to everyone in this room, if it is not the ones that are in this room, are challenged with the housing crisis that we face in our community. You know, there's nearly 300 people who are experiencing homelessness right now across Perth and Huron, and that is not okay. It's not okay. We have to do more. We know that the cost of rent has gone up by about 60% in the last few years. That's impossible for people to manage. We also know that to purchase a home now, the average value in our region is over $630,000. That is also unacceptable and impossible to manage. So what are we going to do about it, right? A lot of us in this room have been at countless meetings talking about this issue for the last number of years. We saw it coming. And I got tired of going to those meetings. Tired of not being able to do something critically important for this community that I could just see needed to happen. And many people around me, not just me, we were all talking about this for a long time. What we are going to do is we are in the midst of launching the region's first entrepreneurial, and that's an important word, entrepreneurial not-for-profit housing corporation. We're calling it the Community Renewal Company for now. We may brand it differently as we go along. But this is the biggest, boldest move that this United Way has ever made in our history. And it takes a lot of risk. Our board members are in the room. They're shaking a little bit, to be honest with you, right? Because it's a big thing to step into a space. You know, by our standards here, we're about a $3 million organization. That feels kind of big-ish, you know, compared to the small organizations in our community. But when you're talking about, oh, let's build a $30 million project, that feels a bit challenging. And so we are moving ahead boldly into this space, though. Tonight, I want to talk to you a little bit about the folks that are helping us out. So some of them are in the room. Not everybody is able to be here tonight, but we do have an advisory committee that is helping to make it possible for us to move ahead. And so I want to thank Dan Matheson, our former mayor here in Stratford, for being a co-chair, along with Keith Masterman from our board. Keith is a business and legal professor at Laurier, a fantastic friend, and our incoming board chair at the United Way. I want to thank Caroline Baker, a planning consultant, local planning consultant, who has helped us tremendously. Marty Rops, the regional manager for Libro Credit Union. Dennis DeRosier, an automotive consultant in the region, recently retired. Nancy Orr, an affordable housing expert and a consultant in the region. Cyril Ferpusi, the CFO for Lease Pet Distributing and a board member with us. Susan Moffat, our board chair. And John Marshall, the former chair of the Huron Economic Development Corporation and also a business consultant. These folks have already given a lot of time in the last few months to help us. And if you're here tonight, I'd like you to stand briefly so that we can say thank you. There's just a few of you here. I know it's not everybody, but we're so grateful for the ones that are here tonight. So what are we going to do? We've got 4 projects in the hopper. It's amazing already. We've already received land in Listowel. We're negotiating for land in Stratford. We are on the brink of having serious conversations in Goderich, and we've been having good conversations in Exeter around a project there. That's 4 major projects. It's not going to happen overnight, but I can imagine, I expect, within the next year, one of those is going to start to go. And when that happens, we're going to be calling on our community in a new way. Because in order for this to work, here's the real trick. We can't rely only on support from our government to make it happen. Municipalities are doing a lot, and I thank them for what they're doing around housing. Our government in Ontario is doing a lot. Our government at the federal level is doing a lot. But we will not be able to move ahead without significant support from our community on this project. It's going to require us to think a little bit differently about perhaps how we invest in our community. And I don't just mean a capital campaign, although that is coming. There will be capital campaigns with these major projects, and we will need people to write checks. Absolutely we will. And this time in the millions. Yes, that is a fact. But in addition to that, we are going to be launching the first of a series of community bonds for the community. So that means we're going to be asking you to actually take some of that money you've got invested in the stock market and give it to the community instead, so that we can build housing, right? If we're actually going to solve homelessness, if we're going to deal with the challenges we spoke about earlier, one of the things that we have to absolutely do is build housing. We're going to share later tonight about some things we're doing on the ground to help people right now. It's amazing, the work of our connection centers and other partners that are involved. But I can tell you that you cannot solve homelessness and you cannot solve the housing crisis unless you have a more housing. But it's not just one kind of housing or a broad stroke of housing that we need. We actually need affordable housing, right? And as much as I love the builders in our region, and they're good people and they're doing everything they can, they got to turn a profit, right? And so the reality is we have to find a way to work in partnership with them, to work in partnership with many others in order to bring affordable housing, more affordable housing to our community. So I'm announcing tonight that the Community Renewal Company is the biggest, boldest play of this United Way in its history. And I'm shaking a little bit while I say it. But I think we can do it. With this group of formidable people in this room and many others who support the work of the United Way and the organizations that we partner with, we can do this, right? We got this. We can make a dent in this, and not just building one or two units. We're talking about building many units to help people across our region. So I'm excited to say that we're ready to move ahead. So tonight, as one of the things that we're talking about in terms of transformation, let's talk about transforming our community to be focused on taking action around housing, right? There's some great things happening, and let's build on them together. It's a fantastic opportunity. So in the room also is a person I want you to know, Mitchell Rhodes. Where are you, Mitchell? I haven't seen you. Here he is, Mitchell. Mitchell Rhodes was hired a year ago. He is our first employee of the Community Renewal Company, and we're so grateful. He brings housing, affordable housing experience from Atlantic Canada. He was a CA earlier in his career, and we have been so thankful to have him on our team at the United Way to help lead us to this new future. So Mitchell, let us all thank you for your hard work in the first year.